Okay, we're going to look at arithmetic sequences and partial sums. So I'll try to type most of the notes on here. Also download the flip chart to a PDF and attach it to my webpage. So if you're needing the notes, you can find them there. And you know, after class, we always do that, so everything we write on the board is captured and attached on the web page for you. But we'll go through them so that you can actually hear the explanation and see them being worked out. Okay? Arithmetic sequences. Remember what a sequence is. It is, you've got your pattern of numbers, basically, with your input values. Your domain is going to be basically your positive integers. You start with 1 and go up from there. Partial sums, well, we'll get to that. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at recognizing, writing, and finding the nth term of an arithmetic sequence, finding the nth partial sum of an arithmetic sequence, and using arithmetic sequences to model and solve real-world problems. So remember that you've got a sequence where the consecutive terms have a common difference is called an arithmetic sequence. It's very simple to figure out which one is arithmetic. When it's talking about this common difference, don't let that throw you. All it's saying is that the space in between your terms needs to be consistent. Do you add or subtract the same value every time to get to the next number? See, it's obviously you're adding 2. Okay, so that's an arithmetic sequence. But if you started with 50 and then you went down 45, 40, 35, well, you can see from there you're subtracting 5. Well, that's an arithmetic sequence. That common difference is -5. So if your space here is consistent, there you go, it's arithmetic. Okay, so here is your specified definition. The sequence of an arithmetic is arithmetic. Okay, there we go again, talking about common differences, and they just get very technical with the way it's written. Remember we were talking about first term is a sub 1, second term is a sub 2. That's just the way they're written. So first term, second term, third term, fourth term. And remember, this is a sub n is just any random term along the way. They're telling you that it's arithmetic, and look here, second term minus first term. That difference is the same thing as third term minus second. Isn't that what we just did? Didn't we say the space between them all was the same thing? They're calling it D is common difference. So it's very important that you know what common difference is. They're going to name it D. Okay? Now, I handed out a yellow sheet of paper with a lot of formulas on it. If you miss class, you're going to need to come by and get that. You'll see the formulas, but if you want your formula sheet, you're going to need to come get one from me. It'll help you with knowing what's what and what to remember. Just to start off with the first example, just knowing what an arithmetic sequence is, exactly what we did at the beginning, check it out and see. From 7 to 11, what did you do? That looks like we went up 4. Is it consistent? Yes, we went up 4 again. Did it go up 4 again? Yes, it did. Now, what we're going to learn how to do here in a little bit is we're going to learn how to determine this little formula. Remember, that's called the a sub n formula. So you can generate any term along the way using this formula. All right, and then again, what did it do from here to here? We went down 5. Does it keep going? Yeah. Go down 5 again. Up, go down 5 again. Well, there's the little formula. Now, look at this. Notice this one is going up 4, and what's here in front of n? It's positive 4. This one is going down 5, and what's in front of n? Negative 5. Very interesting. That'll come into play later. This one is a little bit tougher, and since my fractions are laying over and not standing up, it makes it a little bit harder to see. But if you get to thinking about this, what's it doing from one term to the next? Adding 1/4 every time. This one looks a little suspicious, but remember, he's been reduced. That was 6/4. So 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, that was 4/4, right? So you're just going up by 1/4 every time, and look here, 1/4. Ha-ha. So those are arithmetic sequences. You know, you can find one that's not. Like if I gave you a counter example, would be like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, blah, so on and so forth. Well, what's it doing? Here we're going up 3. Well, what did it do here? Oh, it went up 5. Well, there's no need to continue, is there? Your common difference isn't so common. When these are no longer the same number, it's not arithmetic. Okay? So that has to be the same number for you to have an arithmetic sequence. It's a sequence, all right. It's just not an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so here is the first formula that we're going to need, and in all honesty, we swapped it up a little bit during class. Just to make it a little bit more user-friendly, we put the common difference in front of the binomial, n minus 1. That's the only variation on it that we actually did. Okay, so get used to this formula. Remember, a sub n is just any term. All right, and then this one right here, a sub 1 is always your first term, and d is common difference. Well, it doesn't want to write, does it? Okay. And n is whatever term they're talking about. So n will have to be specified. Okay, so finding the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. So most of these are going to be given in the form of a word problem. They may not be very difficult, but the first thing you've got to do is read it and figure out what they gave you. So my advice to you is to make a habit of writing a list. I don't care, if you want to write it across the top or if you want to write it to the side, whatever. Make a list of all the information they give you. So it says find a formula for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence whose common difference is 3. Okay, they told you something. Common difference is D, 3. Okay, and then whose first term is 2. Well, first term is a sub 1, 2. All right. Now we need to use this information in conjunction with our new happy formula, and we want to come up with, we want a formula for the nth term. That would mean a sub n is what we're looking for. So again, another bit of advice, always write your formula. If you write your formula, it keeps your head from spinning and it also helps you learn your formula. All right, now plug in what you know. You know now we need to put a sub 1. Well, he's 2. Now what's D? 3. We don't know what n is, so he stays in the formula. All right, now we're going to distribute the 3 and collect our like terms, and we'll have a formula. So distributing 3 times n is 3n, and 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Putting our constants together, we have a negative 1. So our formula for a sub n is 3n minus 1. There we go. Okay. Next example, writing the terms of an arithmetic sequence. Okay. Same habit. You want to come over here and list what you have. The fourth term of an arithmetic sequence is 20. Okay. Fourth term, so a sub 4 is 20. And then it says the 13th term, a sub 13, is 65. Write the first 11 terms of this sequence. Okay? Well, keep in mind we only know one formula. The only formula we know of right now was the one we just used. So if you go back over here, here's our formula. And it used a sub 1 and it also used D. Well, if you come over here, we don't have either one of those. So we need to figure something out. Now, there was a formula that I had them add to their formula sheet the other day that would be helpful in this section. So anytime you're trying to find D or find your common difference, if I can get this right, it'd be great. You might want to use this. A sub n is equal to a sub m plus d times n minus m. Now we're going to stipulate that n is the big number and m is the little number, so n is greater than m. And I'll show you how that works here in just a second. Now, this is what I'm getting at. Which one of these is larger, 4 or 13? Obviously 13. Well, he's going to go over here where n is, because n's the big one. All right? A sub 4 is the smaller one. He's right here. Now, we know that this is part of an arithmetic sequence, so all the little steps are the same space. So you've got your common difference. Now, here we go. We're trying to figure out how many steps we took. Well, the steps you took is the big number minus the little number that you were given. So, I mean, if you want to do that part in your head, so be it. But I'm just trying to show you where it comes from. Now, substitute in what you know. A sub 13 is 65. A sub 4 was 20. And then 13 minus 4 is 9d. So, if I subtract 20, I've got 45 equals 9d. Divide your 9 out. That lets you know that all of your spaces are positive 5. This thing is going up by positive 5 every time. So you have D, you can add him to the list. Alright? The only thing we're missing now, we need to figure out A sub 1. If you go through and you figure out A sub 1, go back to your little formula. A sub n equals A sub 1 plus D times n minus 1. You can use whichever one of these that you were given at the beginning. It does not matter. You could use A sub 4, you could use A sub 13. Nobody cares. Just make a choice and pick one. So most people like smaller numbers, so let's just go with this guy right here. So I'm going to put A sub 4 right here. I don't know A sub 1, that's what I'm looking for. So everything else needs to be filled in. D. Ooh, I know what D is. D is 5. Now my N, I know it because I chose to use A sub 4. And you see I've got an N here. 4 is in the place of the N. So I'm going to put 4 minus 1. Now I can solve everything out. Now I'm going to have to replace A sub 4. A sub 4 is 20. And once I work all of this out, I'm good to go. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract your 15. Oh, let's get some space here. We're going to have A sub 1 in no time. So A sub 1, he starts on positive 5. Hopefully that doesn't weird you out too much. That we're starting on positive 5 and we're stepping by positive 5. It asks for the first 11 terms, so basically you're just counting by 5s. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. You know you're done because 5 times 11 is 55. So now it's a lot of little steps. That's what makes this a little bit tricky, is that you're asked for something that seems kind of simple. They're saying, hey, give me the first 11 terms. But you had to find D. And then you had to find A sub 1, before you could ever get started. So you need to be prepared to get background information. Okay, guys, let's stop right here, and I will catch you in the next video, okay?